Oh, yeah.
And you're all set to start the meeting.
Okay. All set, Josh. Thank you.
Yep. Hey, David.
Hi, Jeff. Matt.
How are
Matt,
you?
that was surprising the other day up at the OBHS. I had never seen you full body.
I know.
I just didn't even recognize you. So, but anyways,
Yeah, good job the other day. So
we had a good time.
yeah.
Just to bring the other folks up, I volunteered to do a little talk on West Bridgewater for their, they're doing their, let's see, 200th anniversary. And they want a little talk on Old West Bridgewater. Well, I initially said yes, didn't give it much thought. And then afterwards I went home and I realized that I had nothing on West Bridgewater. So I had to do some digging, and even when I dug, I found very little on West Bridgewater. West Bridgewater is a really neat, sleepy little agricultural community, and although there are a lot of big businesses started there, no big businesses ever really materialized there. The Ameses left town. South Boston Iron Works started there. They left town. So it's not like working on Bridgewater, but one interesting thing that came out of it is at the meeting, there was a lady there from East Bridgewater, and she said, "Well, you want to do something over in East Bridgewater next year for our anniversary?" And again, I said yes, but I think I've got some stuff on East Bridgewater. So, but anyways, so Matt, I was talking to Marilee, and she said you can leave that letter in a manila folder, and she will just keep it on the counter, and then we can go by and sign it.
Awesome.
So,
Okay. Sounds good. I will get that. I mean, it's already written. I just gotta make some quick edits to it and get it printed up and get it over to her so she can have it there, and
Yep.
we'll get people to come over and sign it.
So we all have to sign it, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like at least a few other people on there.
Mhm.
We have a small committee, so I think we could all probably get on there, sign it, but
Sure, that's
yeah,
no problem for me.
yeah. So I know it was just tough trying to figure out everybody's schedule so we could get everything signed, but I think just leaving it at town hall, I think that works for me. So
Okay.
Yeah. Leave it with the clerk.
okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, how did things go with the CPC and the proposal or the request for the Unitarian Church?
From what I remember, that they wanted to pick at it a little bit and see what's eligible, what's not. I think there was some discrepancies about what would be eligible under the CPC guidelines for some things, and some things weren't. So that's going to be talked about at the next meeting, I believe. Gina also wanted she asked us to mention to our committees that they're having the hearing on the 26th, a public hearing. And I'm pulling up the email. She asked that we just mention it, try to get people to participate. It's October 26th at 6:30. I think, Josh, do you have the flyer for that?
Yeah, I can put it up on the screen if you'd like.
Yes, please. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, were you looking to get the ad or just the email from Gina?
The ad, if you don't mind. I think that has
sure.
the Zoom link.
Yep, just a moment to share.
So that's happening pretty soon.
You said that's the 26th, okay,
Yep.
6:30.
Mhm.
What's the hearing for?
It's a public hearing. I'm not, I guess they're just taking questions from the public.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay.
And that is
Yeah,
available
yeah.
on the main website. There's a news flash, and then there's also a calendar event. So if you're looking to send any of the information to either the public or committee members, you can just direct them right to the front page, and they'll be able to access it, just like they would any other meeting.
That's good. They have one of those every so often. Get some direction. Okay, I spoke with the minister before the CPC hearing from the Unitarian Church, and she just briefly explained to me their problem over there. Well, like any small church, they're hurting financially, and they've got some major repairs to the concrete work on the front of the church. And I guess they got a lot of deterioration from leaking roof, got down into cement, and it's caused some real serious problems. So the Congregational Church was able to get money for the steeple, in that the steeple had been used for the town for signaling devices, fire alarm and so forth. And they said it was right on the common, and it was really an important part of the beauty of the common. So they ended up getting $200,000 out of CPC. And it's only to be used in the steeple. So this is going to be interesting. I've heard nothing of the library, the old library renovation. I've just heard some rumors that the Historical Commission has put some restrictions on what can be displayed inside the building. And I told the building inspector that it wasn't coming from the Historical Commission, because they've had no contact with us at all.
Mhm.
So we're waiting to see how the project comes out. I spoke with the archivist, Allison, about holding meetings in the historical room again. And she said that, talk to Jed, but she said as far as she knew, it was not going to be used for any kind of public meetings. Well, I don't think Jed has an idea on exactly what we mean by, sure, it would be a public meeting with the Historical Commission, but it's not like we packed the house. So 4 or 5 people in there. I'll be talking with them next week. The library finally got the display cases in for the historic display, and Allison was down there cleaning them up as I was speaking with her. I believe the first display that's going to be in there is the history and evolution of the library, because they've got their 50th anniversary coming up within the next 2 weeks. They've got a big thing going on there. And then the second display, she hopes to put together a display on Bridgewater and the Civil War. So I didn't realize that she had, or there was that much material in the library historical room on the Civil War, but
If
she's
she
gonna put
needs help
together-
with that, that's my area of expertise,
Oh,
is the Civil War. So feel free to pass on my contact info to her, and if she wants a hand with it. So I'm more than happy to help.
okay, I will
So-
definitely do that. Because I'll be seeing her this Thursday, and if anybody wants to come along, we've got a date to empty the locker down at the shoe factory. Allison's got a vehicle that we're gonna use. And all of the stuff is gonna be stored in the library.
Hmm.
So that's, we were pretty lucky to get that. But we're gonna meet down at the shoe factory at 11 o'clock. We've got a wagon and we'll be hauling the stuff out of there. I think one thing we probably won't be saving, because they're available online. I'm looking for somebody who may want them, is there are a number of volumes of Harper's Weekly.
Ooh.
And I don't know the date range, but they're in the late 1800s. So we'll be looking for a home for those. If
I will-
anybody would be interested.
You know how many you have?
Pardon?
How many do you have? Do you know?
I'm gonna say a dozen of them
I might take it.
anyways, if
Let me
not
take 'em
more.
all.
But Allison says she has access to all of them online.
Hmm.
So the library really didn't want to take on that
Yeah.
part of the locker. But we'll be there at 11 o'clock, and then we'll be in the process of moving it from there to the library. And if you want to stop in and see her at any time, she can show you the pile. So the library basement has been finished. They had it all done, and this was all repair and water damage and mold and everything that had happened. And we had some torrential rains a couple weeks ago, and it flooded again.
Oh.
Well, you're gonna have to excuse me for a minute. My mom's in the hospital and they're calling, so I'll be right back.
All right.
Quick question, where is the shoe factory? Anybody know?
I
It's
think, isn't it near the next one after Hale Street?
yes, it's down. It's Perkins. Is that the one where the old Emma's used to be? Right in downtown, right off of Broad Street.
Like,
Yeah,
if
you
I
can
was-
only, you can only get to it from the street by the, is it Summer Street? You can't go in the other way. It's near where Burger King is, because you can't go up
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, it's kind of off. It's yeah.
Do you have like an address I can use to Google it? Because I can help out on that day. I'd like to.
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, I don't know what the address is, but I know if you're coming from the light, say you're coming from Roach Brothers and you come up behind where those lights are, it's one or two streets after that you can take that right.
If it's the one that I'm thinking of, it's, and David would know this better than I do, but it looks like it's 31 Perkins Street. Does that sound right?
I think
know?
so, because it's right on, you can see it
I
from the
just Googled
street.
storage facilities in Bridgewater,
Yep.
and that's the first one
Yep.
that comes up. And I'm like, how many storage facilities?
Right. It's a really
Okay.
old looking
Yeah.
building. And it
Yeah,
has
that
a
looks
big
like-
parking lot around it.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
Okay,
I've
cool.
never been there, but that's the one we've always used with the Miller, I think.
I can go. I'll go to that one, and I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I'll be able.
I gotta work that day, so unfortunately I
my
won't
way.
be able to join you.
Well, I
But it looks
wanted-
like it's essentially behind where the Burger King is.
Right.
It's kind of across the street, so it's across Broad Street, and it's where Crispy's, the Italian place, is right there, right next to the train tracks. So, and then you have the Fairview Millwork is right there.
Okay.
Yeah, on the other side of the street,
Yeah, it's
right?
Pearl Street is the street that comes down off of Main Street, and that heads right in that.
And that place used to be a shoe factory.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask David, because I know at one time there was like something large, like a wagon or something on that manner, and I can't imagine how the library would have room for that. I don't know if it's still there.
Mm. Mm.
I have never been to the facility.
Yeah, I haven't been either, so I don't know what's in there and what. But I know we weren't being charged for it, and then it changed hands, and
Right.
now the new owners want us to pay up, and
Mhm.
it's just I don't think it's feasible for us to. I mean,
Well, I'm just concerned if you said the library flooded again,
mm,
what's the point of putting something in there until they fix the initial cause of it?
yeah, I mean that's my concern too. Is you move all the stuff down there, and then again you get a massive rainstorm, and it floods, and everything that you've just brought out of storage where it was nice and somewhat protected is
Right, yeah.
now ruined, and but
Wouldn't you think that that initial problem would have been solved when they just fixed it?
you would think
I
so.
know. It's Bridgewater, I know. I hope his mother's all right, because his mother and my mother are about the same age, and we go
Oh.
through this all the time. My mother just got out of the hospital, so, and I don't know how Madeline has been doing.
She's doing okay.
Oh, good, good.
She's 94, and every once in a while, she starts thinking too much, and
Oh.
she works herself into depression, and that accelerates the blood pressure, and then she starts worrying about the blood pressure, and that makes the depression worse.
Yep.
And then she cuts down on her fluids, and it's snowball effect. And finally she says, well, call 911.
Yep. Yep. We just went through that a week ago with my mother.
Yeah,
She got a nosebleed. Well, to come to find out she had the flu. So she was there for a week. So,
yeah.
but she's only 93.
Well, well, she's got a sister that just turned 100, so she's worried about that too.
Good for her. Is she independent?
Yeah, well, she's living, she lives in an apartment with her son. Her son lives upstairs and she lives on the first floor, but it's the family homestead, so.
God bless her.
She's more active than my mom is. I gotta give her credit. She's doing good. But, so anyways, she's coming home tomorrow, so that's a good news.
Great.
She got her everything adjusted again.
Good.
Okay, so, let's see.
We were just talking about the library flooding again.
Oh, yeah, I got cut off in the middle of that story. What had happened was for whatever reason, the architect never put it into the plan to rebuild the drain in the stairwell outside. Now, there's a stairwell that goes on the back of the library that goes downstairs on the outside of the building. It should be covered over. That would eliminate the problem, but it's not covered over. It wasn't part of the plan. And nobody bothered to go down into the bottom of the stairwell and see if the drain was working. Well, that's what they get paid the big bucks for, and they missed it. So hopefully they've got that taken care of, and there are no more rugs. Well, the area that I was in today at the base of the stairs and I think the hallway that goes out, it's polished concrete now.
Okay.
So no rugs to get wet. And I don't know if they put in floor drains, but there's no more rugs down there.
Well, that would be concern for the information we're going to put in there. We don't want it wet and moldy.
Right,
Right.
right. Jed, this is gonna be his historic display area, so he will make sure that it stays dry down there.
Okay.
We're taking care of it.
Now, didn't,
But there
I-
are other rooms in the library that we could possibly use other than the historical room, so that's something I'll be talking to Jed about.
okay. David, at one time, didn't we talk about having, I don't know whether it was a wagon or an old milk thing? There was something in the shed.
Yep, we still got it.
What are we going to do?
Won't fit down there.
I didn't think so.
But I had hoped that someday the town would do something with the building at the ironworks, and it would have made an excellent display
Yeah.
piece for there. What it is, probably, oh, let's see, how far back? Time flies when you're having a good time. So I'm gonna say 15 years ago, a gentleman in Bridgewater, David Muniz, called me up and he says, 15 years ago? No, probably 20 years ago, at least. No, 25 years ago, because my dad was still alive, because he was down there when they moved it. Okay, so what it is David's father and grandfather ran a milk business in Bridgewater out of a wagon. And when they got out of the milk business, they put the wagon in the barn, and David was selling the barn, so he had to get the milk wagon somewhere. So he said, I don't want to give it to you, but I'll loan it to the town. I said, great, no problem. We'll find a place to put it. Well, right now that wagon is sitting at CRT Technologies on Hale Street. It's in the building down there, and it's been there since he loaned it to us in, well, let's say 25 years ago. So I, unfortunately, the man who loaned it to us, Dave Muniz, was killed in a car accident about 15 years ago. He was hit by a drunk driver on his way to work. And his son, Chris, has been in touch with me a couple times just to check on the status of it. And I told him, I said, you can get down and look at it anytime you want, and you reclaim it anytime you want. But he said, oh, I have nowhere to display it. I have no buildings to put it in or anything, so it's just staying there. So that's where the milk wagon is. And I do have a picture of it with its previous owners. There was a dairy farm in East Bridgewater where Mr. Muniz bought it. And I've got a picture of it there. So we've got some history with it. And he ran a milk route down in the Stanley section of town. So we still have it.
Okay.
So that's the long and the short of the milk wagon. Let's see. There was one other thing on the agenda that we had to talk about. Well, I think I'll have to go to the agenda and take a look. Anything, anybody got anything else?
I was just wondering about the dam project that just seems to be hanging.
Hmm.
I know Clayton was always talking about that.
Yeah, Carlton.
Calvin, yeah,
Yeah,
nothing new.
no. He really thought they were gonna start on something, but I think the last time I talked to him about it, he said there were some land acquisition issues
Oh.
that they had to work out. So, but that's where that is right now.
Okay.
I received a number of calls concerning a house. I don't know if you're familiar with the project that's going on Bedford Street, across from Tom Reedy's bus business.
Mhm. Yep.
And they went through the planning board, and it's a large warehouse being built there. I think it's like 300,000 square feet. And they took down that hill. But when they were in the process of clearing the land, I got a call from somebody who said, oh, you know, there's a house in there. I said, really? Well, I'll go see. And sure enough, there was a small house. All that was left was a chimney, but I don't believe it was that old because it had a poured concrete foundation. And there was very little wood around it, so I don't think it burned. I think it was just something that somebody was gonna make, and they never completed it. Because it had a really nice chimney with a clay liner in it. I was able to grab one of the bricks out of the chimney when they finally knocked it over. And it is a Stiles and Hart brick.
Oh.
So that would put it at least after 1930. But I have the brick and I'm going to take it down to the brickyard for them to look at, because they may be able to give me a date range that it has because of the writing on the brick. But I couldn't find anybody who knew anything about that structure, and it was finally bulldozed and plowed under and buried. But it wasn't very big. It was probably only about 12 by 16. But somebody had put some effort into it because they had a bulkhead, it had a set of stairs that went down into the basement, and the chimney on the outside of the building was in really nice shape. Didn't look like it had been used very much at all. So, then I received a call from up on Lakeside Drive. There's two original houses, or the two oldest houses up on Lakeside Drive. As you come in off of 106, 104, head down Lakeside Drive, and about just after Saddle and Bridle, there's a whole subdivision built on the right-hand side off the lakeside, and it's all horse names. But there's a big farmhouse that sits up on a hill, and there was a couple that was buying it, and they wanted to know if there were any historic restrictions on it. And I said, other than the house at the end of the street, there are no historic restrictions. But I did tell them about the massive oil spill they had in the basement. And they should ask the owner who they were buying it from to get the paperwork. It was a tremendous cleanup job. It's a giant colonial, and what had happened was the owner was trying to be proactive, and he replaced his two oil tanks. Well, he had the oil tanks replaced, and he had them filled up with oil, and in the spring, and then come fall, he flipped the heat on, and the furnace wouldn't start. So he called the company that did it, and they came down and said, hey, it's simple, you got no oil. What do you mean I got no oil? You filled the tanks. I haven't used the furnace since then. So a little investigation, and they had neglected to put pads under the legs of the oil tank, and being an old, very thin foundation, the legs punched through on one of the tanks, punched through the floor, and it came down, and the fitting on the bottom of the tank broke off.
Oh,
And, 500 gallons of oil went into the ground. So that could have been potentially a huge disaster. But the oil didn't travel. They sunk some test wells, and they got a company in there similar. I don't think it was APC, which is located down on High Street down in Stanley, but basically it's a gigantic vacuum cleaner. And they jacked up one side of the house, they supported it, and they took this vacuum cleaner and they literally vacuum cleaned all of the contaminated soil from around outside of the house and directly under the foundation. And then refilled it. And it cost a couple $100,000, and insurance companies, and I think the oil company was involved, and there was a whole bunch of people were involved, but they were able to save the house. So, but anyways, there is a postcard that surfaced not too long ago on that farm. And I don't remember offhand the name of it, but there is a postcard out there on it. So, Can't think of anything else. The library will probably not be displaying the veterans banners this Christmas, this winter. They've got a scheduling problem. And somebody was gonna look into that. We had asked for February, but they've got somebody else who wants it, so that's one display that won't be going on.
Hmm.
It's too bad because we had, we've got over 225 of them up. It'll be coming down in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, they're coming down after the holiday, aren't they? Veterans Day?
Yes, starting on the 12th.
Okay. Now, do you want us to clean them again like we did last year? Or
No, because that worked out well last year because we were able to hang them right up and dry when we hung them up on the cables. Well, we have really nowhere to hang up 225 banners other than the library where we had them last year. So we'll put them back down, probably store them at the Vets Club again, and
Okay,
we'll take it from there. We're still selling about 1 or 2 a month. So the orders are still coming in. But we've got to get together and decide what we're going to do with the program because some of the banners, they were only good for 2 years. We've gotten 4 years out of them, and we'll probably get another year out of many of them. So we've got to decide exactly what we're going to do in the future with that. It was a project that was started partly under the Historical Commission, but it was kind of an offshoot. Gee, there was something, there was one other thing. You can't remember.
I think it was the Facebook page on the agenda.
Yes, I have been able to get a hold of Steve to see where that is. I know in the past, when we've talked to him, he said, yeah, I'll show somebody how to do it, but do any of you have any Facebook experience with running a page?
not to run it, just to look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have my own Facebook page, but I don't really know how to run like a page for a group.
well, I don't know if it's a special page, being a group. I know Steve was the administrator of it, and he would just add things and take things down as time went on. So, well, when I get a hold of him to find that out, Jeff, I'll see if there's anything special, and then I'll get back to you and see if it's something that you want to take on. I don't think it requires a lot of work. It is, as things come in, we added pictures to it and so forth, but that's about it.
Okay.
Steve was the real good one because he's got access. Steve was a professional cartoonist, so he's
Really?
very well versed in graphics and computers and everything. So he would take a picture, say of the storage facility, the old shoe factory, and he would be able to take the original picture from say 1900 and then take a current day picture and morph the two of them together. So one half was 1890 and the other half was 2022. So he was really good with that, and so we miss him. But I'll get a hold of him and find out what the passwords are for the administration of that, so forth. Some of you may have heard from, there's a sort of, it's a history in the making. The Lions Club, after doing the lights on the common for the last 25 or 30 years, has declined to take the job on again this year. So they kind of passed it over to Marilee to find somebody who might want to do it. And she got a bunch of people together and they're having a big fundraiser. And I guess they've got a whole new format that's going to take place on the common. I don't believe it's gonna be multicolored lights. If anybody has seen the decorations they have at, in Easton Center, Northeastern Center, she said it's gonna be similar to that. But the Business Association was very disturbed to hear that Santa's train and Santa's chair and the elves and so forth were not gonna be on it because they're doing Santa on the Common. And those things were kind of the centerpiece of their Santa on the Common. So I don't know how that's gonna shake out, whether they're gonna have their direction, their Christmas decorations up or not, but that's a big change in the center of town.
Be nice to see something different for a change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Originally, the guy I used to work with, Cal White, he was the head of the industrial arts department in high school. He came to Bridgewater in 1949 to teach industrial arts, and he worked with a group of women who built the original Santa on the Common decorations using boards donated by Prophet's Funeral Home. They were used in wooden crates for caskets that they bought, and they had quite a bit of lumber supplied. So that's how the original decorations for Santa on the Common came about. But I did see a note on the Bridgewater residence page that the Lions Club was taken off the job. I didn't look into that. I just kind of ignored it because I know the Lions Club had been suffering from membership problems, and like all the groups, they've got a lot of old people, but very few young ones that wanted to take on the job. And sometimes setting those decorations up, we get a cold snap just after Thanksgiving, and it can be pretty miserable duty. So some commercial enterprises are doing it. I think the last count, they had raised over $25,000
Wow.
to hire somebody to come in with these white lights. And they're doing over all the electrical connections on the Common also. So hasn't gone through the Historic District Commission, I'm sure, but oh well. They'll get to comment on it after the first year. So it looks like we've got a pretty good system set up now with Josh setting up the meeting for us for the third Tuesday. Anybody's around on Thursday and they want to swing by and see what we're pulling out of that storage locker. There isn't really a lot of stuff. There's probably 2 carloads.
I'm planning to help out. I think you
Great.
said 11, so.
Yes, 11 o'clock.
Yep.
We'll be over
Yeah,
there.
I'll help out until I have to go pick my kid up at school.
Okay, that'd be great.
Then I think we're coming back to the library for their birthday party, right? Library's turning 50 that day.
Yes. Yes, the new library building is turning 50.
Yep.
I haven't seen too much explanation on that. That this is really not the birthday of the library, but the birthday of the building.
Yep.
But anyways, let's see. I was given a plate the other day that I don't know how old it is because there's no date on it, but it's a small plate, probably 8 inches square, and it has a picture of the memorial building in the center of it. And on the back, it says made for J.H. Fairbanks in Germany. So I don't know if it was an original when the library came about in was it 1885 or 88 or something like that. So I'm going to we'll have to wait and see, because we were promised a display case in the building. Is, that we can fill, so we'll see if that's actually gonna materialize. Things have a way of changing when they go through the town manager's office. So. Well, anything else? I hate to cut it off short, but I don't want to just keep treading water here and keep you on. You don't have to. So, okay, Matt, you're gonna drop that off the town
I will
clerk?
get that. I'll figure it out and dropped off. Hopefully, if not, let's see. I'm looking at my calendar right here. Hang on. Yeah, probably next week, most likely. So that way we can. Trying to think when the town council meets. They every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesdays, I think.
Well, it'll probably take a week or more for us to get on the agenda.
Yeah. So,
I understand, town manager's been on vacation for the last 3 weeks. So I don't know, we might have a lot of stuff backed up.
yeah. So hopefully we get on there. But yeah, I will drop it off. Hopefully I'll get over there this week, but if not, definitely by next week. And
Okay,
I will send out an email to everybody when it's there, and
Oh, perfect. Okay.
you guys can just go over whenever. So.
Yep.
All
Good
right.
time. Early voting will start, so we can go over and do
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. So,
and Jeff, we'll see you on Thursday.
Yep, planning to be there.
Okay.
all right.
Well, no other business than a motion to adjourn for the evening.
I'll make a motion.
Seconded.
Seconded, third.
Okay,
Third.
all right, then we'll see some of you sooner than others. Not third Tuesday in November.
All right.
All
Okay,
right.
good
Thank
night.
you.
Night, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys.
You can leave the computer on.